The wind outside isn't just blowing, it is screaming. It is April 29, 1961, at the Novolazarevskaya Station on the edge of Antarctica. Outside the thick wooden walls of the base, a polar blizzard is tearing across the ice shelf, burying everything in white darkness and howling like 100 jackals. Inside, the air is stale, smelling of diesel fumes and damp wool. But in one small room, the atmosphere is heavy with something else, the sharp, metallic taste of fear. Dr. Leonid Rogozov is lying on his bunk. He is 27 years old, a man with a heavy jaw and the strong, capable hands of a surgeon. But right now, those hands are trembling, not from cold, but from a fever that is slowly boiling his blood. He shifts his weight, and a jagged bolt of pain shoots through the lower right side of his abdomen. It is a familiar pain. As a doctor, he has seen it in dozens of patients. He has pressed his fingers into weeping children and stoic laborers, diagnosing it instantly. But this time, the patient is him. The diagnosis is acute appendicitis. In a hospital in Leningrad, this would be a routine procedure, a 20-minute interruption to a Tuesday morning. Here, at the bottom of the world, it is a death sentence. We need to understand the terrifying mathematics of his isolation. Rogozov is not just far from home, he is effectively on another planet. The nearest human beings outside this tiny station are over 1,000 miles away. Even if they could hear him, it wouldn't matter. The blizzard raging outside has grounded all aircraft. The sea is a frozen fortress of pack ice. There is no evacuation. There is no rescue. There is only the storm, the ice, and the ticking clock inside his own body. He tries to fight it with the only weapons he has that don't involve a blade. He swallows antibiotics. He packs ice against his burning side, shivering as the meltwater soaks his sheets. He forces himself to lie still, staring at the ceiling, listening to the wind try to tear the roof off. He tries to smile for his teammates, the 12 other men who look at him with widening, frightened eyes. They know he is the only doctor. If one of them gets sick, Rogozov saves them. But who saves Rogozov? By the evening of April 30th, the conservative treatment has failed. The pain is no longer a pulse. It is a constant screaming presence. His temperature hits 37.5 degrees Celsius, then climbs higher. He vomits, his body rejecting the very idea of food. In his diary, he writes with a steady hand that betrays his internal terror. I cannot sleep. It hurts like the devil. A snowstorm is whipping through my soul, wailing like 100 jackals. He knows the pathology of what is happening inside him. The appendix is inflamed. Soon it will turn gangrenous. Then it will burst. When that happens, peritonitis will flood his abdominal cavity with infection. Without surgery, he will be dead in days, dying in agony while his friends watch, helpless. The realization settles over him like a lead blanket. The logic is brutal and inescapable. There is only one surgeon on the entire continent capable of performing an appendectomy. That surgeon is dying. Therefore, the dying man must perform the surgery. He looks at his hands again. They are sweating. He has to cut open his own stomach. He has to reach inside his own body, locate a piece of dying flesh, and cut it out before it kills him. The decision is made not out of bravery, but out of a terrifying necessity. He tells the meteorologist and the driver to wash their hands. I am going to operate, he says. The storm outside pounds against the walls, a drum roll for the impossible act he is about to attempt. It is 2 a.m., May 1st. The station is asleep, buried under snow. But in Rogozov's room, a single lamp burns with a harsh yellow light. The operating theater is a cluttered dormitory. There is no sterile field, only bed sheets sterilized in an autoclave. There is no anesthesiologist to monitor his heart, only a meteorologist named Alexander Artemiev who stands ready to hand him instruments, and a driver, Zinovy Teplinsky, who holds a lamp and a small table mirror. Both men are pale, their eyes wide and terrified. They are mechanics and scientists, not medics. They are watching their friend prepared to butcher himself. Rogozov looks at them and forces a calm he does not feel. If they panic, he dies. If I lose consciousness, he instructs them, his voice tight, you must inject this syringe here and use this to ventilate me. He's teaching them how to save him from his own surgery. He lies down on the narrow bed, his torso bared to the chilly air. He positions himself, propped up slightly so he can see his own waist. The silence in the room is absolute, broken only by the clinking of metal on metal as he arranges the scalpel, the clamps, the needles. He fills a syringe with Novocaine. He finds the spot, the tender, burning epicenter of his pain, and injects the local anesthetic. He waits. The skin goes numb, but he knows the freezing will not reach the deep tissue. He will feel this. He will feel everything. He picks up the scalpel. He takes a breath that rattles in his chest. He looks down at his own white skin, the vulnerable curve of his abdomen. Then he pushes the blade in. The skin parts. Blood wells up, dark and warm, running down his side. He makes a cut 10 centimeters long. The pain is sharp but distant, muffled by the Novocaine. But as he cuts deeper through the fat and the muscle wall, the anesthetic wears thin. His hands are working, but his brain is screaming. He is violating the most fundamental instinct of any living creature, the instinct to protect one's own body from harm. He is overriding millions of years of evolution with every slice of steel. He tries to use the mirror to see what he is doing, to navigate the red abyss he has opened in himself. But the reflection is a trap. Everything is reversed. When he wants to move his hand right, the mirror shows left. He fumbles. He hesitates. The confusion makes him dizzy. He curses under his breath, a flash of anger cutting through the fear. The mirror is useless. He pushes it away. He peels off his gloves. His bare hands are now his eyes. He plunges his fingers into the open wound, pushing past the muscle, feeling the slick, warm wetness of his own internal organs. He is operating by touch alone. He can feel the intestines shifting under his fingers. He can feel the pulse of his own aorta. The sensory overload is catastrophic. The smell of the disinfectant mixes with the smell of his own blood. The room begins to spin. Vertigo hits him like a physical blow. He feels the black edges of unconsciousness creeping in. He closes his eyes, his hand still inside his stomach, and waits. I must not fall, he thinks. If I faint now, I will never wake up. He pauses. 20 seconds. 30. The driver is holding the lamp with trembling hands, looking like he might vomit. Rogozov opens his eyes. Wipe my forehead, he whispers. He dives back in. He works for 5 minutes, then shuts his eyes for 20 seconds. Cut. Rest. Bleed. Rest. He is a man climbing a mountain, and the mountain is himself. 30 minutes have passed, then 40. The room feels like it is shrinking. Rogozov is pale, his face slick with sweat, his lips a thin line of concentration. He is deep inside the abdominal cavity now, his fingers searching blindly for the source of the poison. He lifts a loop of intestine, inspecting it, then pushes it back. It is a nightmare of anatomy. Everything feels different when you are looking at it from the wrong angle, when the pain you inflict is the pain you feel. Then his fingers brush against something hard and swollen. He feels it. The appendix. He maneuvers it into view. It is hideous, a dark, angry purple, swollen to the point of bursting. At the very base, he sees a patch of black tissue, gangrene. He stares at it, his breath catching in his throat. It wasn't just appendicitis, it was a ticking bomb. If he had waited another day, perhaps even another hour, it would have burst. The black stain is the shadow of the death he just outran. But the battle isn't over. He has to remove it. His hands are shaking more violently now. The exhaustion is a physical weight, crushing his chest. He clamps the base of the appendix. He picks up the scalpel again. He cuts the organ free. But as he stitches the stump, his vision blurs. He feels a strange detachment, as if his soul is floating up towards the ceiling, looking down at the man on the bed. He is losing the tether to reality. In this haze, his hand slips. The needle nicks the cecum, the beginning of the large intestine. Panic flares, sharp and cold. A hole in the intestine means infection. It means he has failed. He forces the floating sensation away. He drags himself back into his body. With agonizing slowness, he stitches the small tear he just made. Then he stitches the stump of the appendix. He checks it. It holds. He drops the blackened piece of flesh into a jar. It is out. He pours antibiotics directly into the open cavity, a final shield against the infection. Now, the closing. Layer by layer, he sews himself back together. Muscle to muscle, fascia to fascia, skin to skin. The tension in the room finally breaks. The driver, Toplinsky, lets out a long, shuddering breath. The meteorologist looks like he has returned from a war. Rogozov puts in the final stitch. He does not celebrate. He does not smile. He simply drops the needle. He is finished. The clock reads 3:45 a.m. The operation has taken 1 hour and 45 minutes. He carefully instructs the assistants on how to clean the instruments, how to dispose of the waste. Only when the room is tidy does he allow himself to collapse. He swallows a handful of sleeping pills and falls into a darkness deeper than the Antarctic night. He wakes up the next day. The fever is dropping. The pain is a dull ache, but it is a healing pain, not a killing one. He is alive. 2 weeks later, he is back on duty. Leonid Rogozov did more than survive. He expanded the definition of human capability. In the decades that followed, his procedure became a case study for chaos. It taught us that when the environment is stripped away, when technology fails, and when hope is mathematically zero, the final resource is the human will. Today, as we train astronauts for the long, lonely voyage to Mars, where Earth will be just a blue star in the sky, they study Rogozov. They study him to learn that survival isn't about the tools you have in your hand, it's about the steel you have in your mind.